my mommy and daddy.
Oh, that's sweet. All right, now, who is Emily?
Um, she's my best friend.
She's your best friend?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you known Emily?
Uh,
2? 2 months?
uh, uh,
No, 2 years?
uh-huh,
So you've known her since you were 2?
uh-huh,
Okay, all right. And does Emily like living here?
uh-huh,
Yeah? Does she like the dog?
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So who is Sophia? Look at the camera.
She's, um, she's Emily's best friend.
Oh, Sophia is Emily's best friend.
Yep.
Okay. So the 3 of you hang out then? Look at the camera.
The 5 of us, Evans, Alfred, and that's all I think of.
Okay, so it's you.
That's all that I can think of.
Okay, so it's you, Emily, Sophia, Ashley, and
Hi guys, welcome back to the Supernatural Files. Tonight we'll be talking about children's imaginary friends. Are they so imaginary or could they actually be ghosts or spirits? We'll also be talking to a past client of mine who's been a very good friend now for the last 10 years. She's going to share her experience. We're going to talk in detail about that, look at some clips, and obviously, hopefully, take some questions. Right, before we do anything, let's see who we've got on here. So, who we got on? I know that today is 12 o'clock afternoon for those folks in the US instead of 8 o'clock. And Madney, hi. Oh, you made it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Kimmy. Hi, Kimmy. Good to see you. Okay. My guest is currently waiting in the green room, so to speak, and I'll be bringing her in a few moments. So I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes for a few more people to join. Then we can begin. Stella. Hi, Stella. Bit of an experiment, this, isn't it? 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know what? And I've been forced into drinking wine at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, guys, instead of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I'm not totally responsible for that. I accept no responsibility whatsoever. Okay. I see dead people. Famous line from an iconic movie. Right, I've got this little thing I'd like to read out first, which I pulled off of the internet. It reads thus. I see dead people, the chilling line from Sixth Sense in the eeriest and most quoted that modern day classic thriller about a young boy who helps earthbound spirits complete their unfinished business before moving on to the next realm. But that's only a movie! Exclamation mark. It goes on to say, as we all know, real life can be stranger than fiction. I think we would all agree with that. The internet is full of true life encounters, children that have reportedly had interactions with ghosts. Now we all know how reliable the internet can be, and when it comes to information, So take the following with a grain of salt and cue the Twilight Zone music. Unfortunately, this is still the general consensus. popular, general consensus among most people. Then he goes on to say, but can children actually see ghosts? Some spooky tales that may lead you to believe so. A woman named Michelle shared a story on her website. The Every Mom, that must be the website, Every Mom. She said her husband's father passed away several years before their son was born. Her husband, she said, had always blamed himself for giving the father the flu, and it's that killed him. According to Michelle, neither she nor her husband had ever discussed him with their son, but one morning her son awoke and said, Daddy, Papa Don wanted me to tell you that he's doing fine. The boy went on to discuss his grandfather in great detail, even though he had never seen a photograph or had ever been mentioned to this child before. There's many, many accounts all over the world about things very, very similar to that. Let me just pop into this now. Oh, here we go. It's all popping in now. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. So I'm not reading that all again, so I hope you got it the first time. I was just saying, there's a lot of reports of children interacting with ghosts/spirits. And quite often, the parents, that's actually a very scary thing for them because they don't understand what's going on. And then they don't know, is it an imaginary friend or is it something different? I was on a case 10 years ago. Oh my goodness me. 10 years ago. On the very such topic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play this clip from the interview with my client on that case. It turned out there was a lot more going on than this one particular spirit that I was expecting to encounter. It turned out to be a much bigger thing than that. Anyway, this is Jodie. She was a client 10 years ago. She's been a very good friend ever since. Absolutely fantastic girl. And this is the first visit around when I went to see Jodie and what she had to tell us about what she thought was going on.
Paul's just been telling me what's been happening. It seems to be conversations between your daughter and possibly his father who passed 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously tonight we'll come to see if that could be the case. We don't know at the minute if it is, but that's what we're here for to find out.
She keeps coming out with random things about Frank. The other day, it was about a week ago actually, a week and a half ago, she was just going to bed and she just randomly said his name. Now, the last time she ever said his name was about 7 months ago when we first had that conversation in the playroom. So it was just really random how she said it. And then when I questioned her, I said, "Oh, why have you said that?"
Stop.
What's this in there?
No, sorry.
What's that? Somebody.
That was strong then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You'll get used to that one.
Don's just gone out. He's got a bit of strength coming on.
Just go on where he was.
Yeah, I was sitting there. It was about 8 o'clock. Ruby was. She just mentioned his name straight away, randomly. So I asked her. I said, "Oh, why have you said that?" And she said, "Oh, she goes, oh, Frank." She kept saying it really weird. And I said, "Oh, why have you said that?" I said, "Where is he?" And she said, "He's outside having a fag." So I said, "Oh, right," which freaked me out. So that's when I messaged Paul and I said, "Was your dad a smoker?" And he said yes. And then when I questioned her even further, I said, "Oh, is anybody else with him?" And she said, "Yeah, he's outside with them." And she kept going through and she said, "Oh, my brother." And then she eventually came to my ex, who I've got a little baby with, Waylon, his brother. Now his brother passed a few years ago, cancer, which made me think, could that be linked? Could it be something?
Yeah.
And then, then I thought note of it. And then she went all really silly and started being really bashful. The next day I started questioning her about it again. I thought I'd have a conversation with her about it. And I started asking her, who is Frank and why, what did he say to you? And
yeah, because Frank's just a generic name normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did she, sorry to interrupt you, but Frank, did she actually give a surname as well?
No.
She didn't.
She'd never got a surname. When she first mentioned it about in the playroom, when she said about him coming for a cup of tea, the next day I questioned her about it, and she mentioned something about him speaking Spanish. His dad was half Spanish.
Yeah. But I did actually ask you at the time. I said, how would she know what Spanish is? And you actually had
exactly. But then there was another theory, and I thought, well, she's watching a lot of Dora at the moment, which is, it's a Spanish program where they.
But she would recognise certain words, obviously. So.
Well, she does. Yeah.
Okay. Evidently, from a few minutes ago, I felt something quite strong here.
Right.
Don't know if that's to do with this place or to do with me at the moment, but we've come to see if we can find some answers for you.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do, so we'll make a start now.
Okay, lovely.
Okay, thank you.
Jodie, just one more. Poor Jodie. First encounter with Don Phillips, I was scared her to death. Sitting at the table, suddenly get a blast. I love her face there. It's like, okay, so I'm going to ask Jodie about that when she comes on in a little while. Okay, so that was the first time I'd met Jodie. Like I said, absolutely fantastic person, wonderful woman. Then me and Nick went for a little walk around the place. So I'm going to play that next, and then we're going to speak to Jodie. Okay, Nick, we've come here. We went in there. Started to interview our clients. Must have been. Well, I spoke to Paul first. I could feel someone was with me. I didn't know who it was, whether it was one of my guys or somebody else that was resident here, so I didn't actually say anything. Started talking to the lady, and you've seen I got a big strength. Yeah. As she started talking, it was there again, still there, so I put the recorder on, and obviously. That is the recording as it's just been taken. Now, the thing is with that, that's her speaking straight afterwards, and I wasn't speaking during that time.
When she first mentioned it about in the playroom, when she said about him coming for a cup of tea, the next day I questioned her about it.
And what do you believe that says?
It's hard to determine. It sounds like 12 of you, I think, but. It's very hard.
Yeah, it does.
As always, they're not always 100% easy to determine at the time, but I'll play through some big speakers. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a little walk around the house.
Yep.
When I came in, I did feel something to the left of me. Not as in, just felt like, so when I walked in, I know the little girl was playing, and supposedly Frank has been playing with her at the tea party. Okay, and obviously the conversation between her and Frank started. But when I came in, I said to my mum, I says, little girl, did she play in that room? And she said, yeah. And the reason is when I came in, I felt some kind of strength from that room, which is literally there. But we're going to now, like I said, have a little walk around and see if we can get to the bottom of what's going on. But they've certainly got, obviously,
got some guests.
Got some guests.
Okay.
I think there's a portal because this is the same strength as the living room, and this is directly above the living room.
From where the portal is downstairs, do you mean?
Do you know when I say it's strong here?
Yeah.
It was very strong, and she says, "Oh yeah, this is where it all happened. It's just here." Okay.
And we were directly above it.
We're directly above it now, and again, I'm just going to sit for. Can anybody tell me, is there a portal open here? There's a few of us, that is really clear.
Wow.
Listen.
I can hear that, mate.
So, yeah, it's getting strong now.
Yeah.
Hang on. This is a lot bigger than what I anticipated. I thought to see if there's a gentleman called Frank here.
Okay.
Okay. We're in the midst of, there's a few of us and very strong downstairs up here, and this has got to be a portal.
Okay.
It's got to be. Assuming they're all nice people.
Yep.
It shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I will ask them to, Becky, to do that, close the portal.
Okay.
All right.
the important thing that you need to know, guys, is not it's caused any problems. Obviously, the family here are concerned, naturally, because not everybody understands you like I do. So, I'm going to walk around a couple more rooms. I'm going to go downstairs, and then let's engage in some conversation. Okay? I'm waiting for Becky in. Okay. Now, listen to this.
Fantastic.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Very difficult how to put this to them downstairs. They want to know the truth, and that is important. But I can't tell them that there's nothing. Doesn't appear to be anything bad here, does it?
No.
To be fair, so
Feels okay, doesn't it? You know.
it feels very strong. But I'm not feeling anything really negative. And let's face it, normally by now there'd have been some very bad language directed at me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, let's.
I was shocked. I went round to encounter what I thought would be one person to see if her daughter's friend was imaginary or a real friend. Or a spooky person. Can you imagine? In my shoes, I've now got to go to Jodie and say, hey, you know, you're a bit nervous in case it was a spirit person. You've got a house full. There's loads, and you've got a portal. But don't worry, I brought a spirit with me called Becky. We're going to sort it out. You know, you've got to be really tactful when you talk to people, especially when they don't know you very well. It was an absolutely fascinating case. There's a lot more to it. Now, I did say I'm going to bring Jodie on straight after that clip. I've got one more clip I want to play first, which only lasts for about a minute. And then, Jodie, everybody will have the pleasure of your company. And I'm sure there will be some questions. And if anybody has had anything similar experience, message me. We might just bring you on the show. Because it's a fascinating subject. Okay, so this is the next clip, which lasts for 1 minute 5 seconds, Jodie, and then I'm going to introduce you to all these wonderful people that join us every week on the Supernatural Files.
When I come into a place, people either want to know the exact situation or just want it dealing with.
Yeah.
What do you want? Very, very strong. I think you've actually got a portal open, and I'll tell you why. It's directly above this place, and it's exactly the same strength. I put the recorder on, and I was just talking to the guys, you know, and asked them something, and they said, was it loads of us or a few of us, which I'll play to you now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to come down here in a few minutes, and we're all going to talk to you, and as well. And they said, okay, and you can hear that quite clearly as well. So you've got a lot of guys in it. It's bigger than what I thought it was.
I was just saying
That's the true
I was
situation.
just saying to the girls, like, after the first week of me living here, I had a basket on one of my chairs, and it was about 9 o'clock, and I had this big thud in my bedroom, and it went bang, and I went upstairs with my washing basket in the middle of my floor, being pushed off.
So I come to see Frank. You see, Frank's here,
yeah.
and it turns out there's a lot more than Frank here. I kind of figured there'd be more than Frank because there always is.
Oops, just about to read that, but it caught me off guard. Without further ado, let's bring Jodie in. Hi, Jodie.
Hi.
How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Tired. I was been up since 3 o'clock this morning, as you know. And I've got to say, guys, this girl is amazing because we got this figured out. I didn't actually make it clear to her that it was alive, and she messaged me. Well, it's 3 o'clock here, 4 5 6 7 8. I don't know what time it was there, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. She said, sorry to be a pain, Don, but I'm going out for dinner tonight. Can we do it another time? And I just posted it everywhere. And I was like, oh. I said, oh, I can't change it now, Jodie, because I posted it everywhere, but I'll just have to wing it. She said, oh, I didn't realise it was live. And she cancelled her dinner to be here tonight, guys. What a fantastic girl. Come on. Seriously. How many people would do that? Like I said, great girl. Jodie.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a blast from the past, that is. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen them videos.
Yeah, probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, very old, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot to dig into tonight. Well, dinner time here and UK night time over there. I've got to ask you something. You know, the first time when I came in, we sat down and I'm interviewing you on that first segment. And I suddenly get that. And I walked out of the room. You're like, okay, what's going on? This guy's crazy, weird. Just somebody help. What was you thinking? What the hell's he? What's he doing?
I didn't know what to think. I just thought, what's going on? Yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's difficult being me. I mean,
Yeah.
we had that, and then I was there to see if Frank was actually imaginary or not. And then I've got to tell you that, you know what, Jodie, I know you're a little bit nervous about this. There's a lot of guys here, and you've got a portal. That's a big pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was caught me off.
Don't lie. This is Supernatural Files. We
Yeah,
you know
it
what?
scared
We are totally transparent, Jodie.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it was a lot to take in, but you were brilliant from start to finish. The way that you handled everything, it was like it put me at ease, and yeah, it made me feel so much better about everything. So I wasn't worried by the end of it.
I have to be very tactile when, especially introducing to a new client. I'm here to sort your problem out, your spirit problem, and I brought a spirit friend with me called Becky. I mean, come on. But how amazing was Becky?
Yeah, she was amazing, and she was really clear as well. You could hear every word that she said.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff there we've not actually got in here, but when we was there for quite some hours till early morning, weren't we, on both occasions, and it's. I take a lot from it, from helping people like you, Jodie, and even more so when you become very good friends, because you was actually on the team for a very short period of time, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to come out. I remember we went and did that farm, didn't we?
Yeah.
The farmhouse. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like every minute of it, I loved. It was. It just fascinates me, things like that. I absolutely love it now.
And then a little while after that, then I had to do the 12-hour night shifts, which kind of cocked everything up, didn't it? With the team and everything, which they wasn't very happy about that, was they? Because I basically had to disband the team because I was working all the time and weekends. And then I did that with Steve Marrow, but that's another story for another day. It's all water under the bridge. So, Jodie, then where did I get to? Let me just check the comments before we carry on. How scary was it for you, though? Seriously.
I think it did scare me. It was like the fear of the unknown, I think, not knowing what it was, and I think not understanding it as well.
That's a big part of it. Kimmy said, "Thank you, Jodie." Madney Lee. Madney. Do you know what, Madney? Just is it actually Mandy, and you just want it to be a little bit different, or is that your name? I've just wondered that all the time. You need to let me know that. Okay. Thumbs up from Ellen B. Residential haunting is in the UK. You are brave, Jodie. In fact, let me do this. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I can read that, yeah.
So you got a lot of supporters already.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Right then. Oh, I've done that one. Oh, then I stepped outside for, I said, a breath of fresh air, but we all know Don Phillips. He went for a smoke. Okay. And then I was just doing a little piece to camera, so I'm going to play that now, Jodie. And then, I don't know if you was aware at the time, I tried to interact with just Frank directly. And I got a brilliant reply. And he said, "Who is this?" Do you know about that?
I believe you told me. I think you did tell me that.
Well, we've got that clip. Now, do you know what Frank actually sounded like?
No, I never knew him.
That's a great shame, because this is a great example of a voice. And if someone could identify this as Frank, that would be even more absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is my little roundup after we've done the interviews. I've had a walk around. I've explained the situation to you. Told you got not one spooky person ghost. You've got a shitload going on and a portal to boot. Okay, so this is when I stepped outside then, just a little roundup.
Things in there are kind of warming up a little bit. Becky says that they're apparently, well, my spirits are now trying to deal with what's going on in there with some unpleasant ones. Somebody in there says, "You're fucking pathetic." Yeah, they're not still young, but it'll be rectified with somebody. I've not actually started doing my thing yet. It's all about timing. You can't rush it, and so I'm just playing it by ear. I'm just going to go for a little walk around the house and see what strengths are in what rooms, and see what anything else that we encounter. Then later we're going to try and close the portal. I've already challenged the one that was in there that was a bit cheeky, but he didn't reply after that. But Jodie and Paul are understandably a little bit nervous, but it's an education.
Okay, so I don't know if you was aware you've seen that clip before, but things changed a little, and I got a little bit of abuse. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must put that to you tactfully as well. You see, the clients always say you've got a choice. You can either know exactly what's going on as it's going on, or I can give you a kind of embellished version, a pretty version with sprinkles on it, But you wanted to know exactly what was going on, didn't you?
Yeah, I like to know exactly, what I'm dealing with as well. But.
So tell the viewers, Jodie, with your little girl, she's 4 years old. How did it actually begin?
It started off before I moved into this house.
Before you moved into the house?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
you may tell me. I know I may have forgotten, but okay, carry on.
Yeah, you'll remember in a minute when I mention this name. Do you remember Sarah?
Oh, yes. Oh, Sarah from the previous house.
Yeah.
There
she had an imaginary. It started off when she had an imaginary friend when she was 3.
Yeah.
And she used to go off into the corner, and she used to always act like she was talking to somebody, or somebody was at the side of her.
Yeah.
And I just knew something wasn't right. And when I got my phone out, I started taking some photos of her one day, and at the side of her, in every single photo, there was an orb. In every single photo.
You actually showed me a couple of them, didn't you, at the time?
Yeah, there was just one orb at the side of her. And yeah, she'd just go off into the corner and she'll go, come on, Sarah. And then I thought, oh, okay, something's not right here. But I just left it at that point because I wasn't sure. And it wasn't until I moved in this house, I think within a week or 2, that's when the basket fell off in my bedroom. And then there were loads of other stuff happening. I think I heard a load of stuff being dropped into my bath. And then I went and had a look and there was nothing there. So there was loads of little things that were happening. And then I think the whole tea party situation, when she was sitting down with somebody that we knew, but she couldn't possibly know, I think that was the icing on the cake. And I thought, no, I need to get help. I need to get a second opinion on this because I just wasn't sure.
Where did you actually get me from?
So Paul knew you from someone through Facebook, I think it was.
Oh, it must have been a message through Facebook.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, through one of the girls on the team. I think he through Facebook. Yeah.
What worries me is you could have got anybody, Jodie. This is what always worries me. I really do. Heart in hand, I really care about my clients. I don't charge any money or anything. I just come around and just do what I can for them to resolve the thing. But the problem is, there's a lot of dodgy people out there that have got a self-belief system that they're doing this and helping. And, quite often have to go around and mop up the shit they're left behind, which I've discussed in previous videos. I'm not being funny. You're lucky you got me. And because it was the real thing, we dealt with it properly. Well, actually, we actually dealt with it in lots of different ways. I think it was the other guy that was there at the time that mentioned an exorcism or something, and I said, okay, yeah, we can do that, and we did that as well. We did. I had a priest come in there, didn't I?
Yeah.
We had a priest come in there, do all the thing, did the exorcism thing, which you was actually quite affected by that, and that's what we're going to come to later if you're not uncomfortable with that.
No, that's fine. I'd like to talk about that actually because.
Okay. Because it's important to me that there's going to be people out there going through a similar experience to what you're going through, and this is not just interesting for our viewers. It's kind of a message and an education to other people. How it should be conducted, and how you have to take into consideration the feelings and the mindset of your client at the time, because shit like this can drive you crazy and make you think you're actually going crazy.
Yeah.
So many clients I've had have said, "Oh my god, at least I thought I was going mad. Thank you, Don. I'm not. No, you're not."
Yeah. I didn't sleep for
Oh,
a
really?
month. Yeah.
See, this is the stuff that we can't relay in videos, and we don't, but you can put out now. You can tell people it must, but it was actually probably far more scary and devastating. I mean, this is a child, involves your child. It doesn't.
Yeah,
get
it
bigger
was.
than
It
that.
was. It was scary. I mean, there was a time when she wouldn't go to sleep in her own bed for 3 months, and I ended up having her in my bed with me because she just refused to sleep in her bed. And I used to ask her why. You know, why won't you sleep in your room? And she used to say that she could see like faces that are coming up to her in the middle of the night when she was trying to get to sleep. And they were just like one after another, and then she'd, they'd try and communicate with her, and she just didn't like it. She didn't understand it. She didn't feel comfortable. So I think one night she just sat on the stairs and cried and cried.
Oh,
And I
bless
said,
her heart.
yeah, it was awful.
I mean, adults, visible spectrum range, we see between 4 and 700 nanometers. That's our spectrum range. Child sees below that. They see at 380,
Yeah.
which doesn't sound a lot, but it is a lot.
Mm.
So that could account for why they see things that adults can't.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually, because I've got 4 children, and each one of my kids have sensed something, or they've had an experience that's in some different way, and just as powerful as each other as well. Like, I could tell you some stories about my youngest at the moment,
Yes,
and then
please do.
yeah, and then Oliver, he's now 11.
Okay.
And he was, at the time when it was all going off with Ruby, when she was younger, he used to play peekaboo at the bottom of the stairs with something that was upstairs, and there was nothing there. And then that, and he used to run off and hide, and then would say, who are you hiding from? And he'd go, oh, it's the monster ghost, mummy, it's the monster ghost. But he didn't understand what that was.
Yeah.
He was totally serious. He was really scared.
Let's be right on this. Let me just read you a little extract from the other thing that I was Googled a few days ago in preparation for the show, which almost didn't happen. Wink, wink. You're fantastic, Jodie. I really appreciate this. Okay. Children's imaginary friends / ghosts. Ghosts? Spirits? Not so fast. Counters. Jacqueline Wall, a professor of psychology at the University of Texas in Austin. Kids really start to make a lot of clear distinctions between real and not by their late to early 3s, she says. For example, they know something is not real because it's a toy or a picture. There has long been a stigma around kids having imaginary friends or claiming to see ghosts. We know that between a third and two-thirds of children have imaginary companions. A psychologist at Durham University who investigates the phenomena and hallucinations told Washington Post not too long ago imaginary friends were considered a precursor to a mental illness. Now we know they're a positive sign of a healthy child. This is the problem we've got. Child psychologists. It's all imaginary friends, Jodie. All imaginary friends.
Mm.
Your imagination's working overtime. Your child's just doing the child thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but at the same time, that's fine. That's their opinion. But the same bullshit exists all the time. The reason they've reached that conclusion is because they've never investigated their own study, their own study of expertise within that field thoroughly.
Mm.
Because they won't even look at cases like yours or the evidence we're going to show tonight. They're going to put you and your child in a box. That's it, signed, sealed, delivered, dealt with. This is the problem I have with science and psychology. because everything has got to fit into a box, nice, neat, and tidy. Anything they can't explain outside that box, they don't want to go there because they're the experts and they should have, they should have all the answers. And for that, they haven't, because they do not understand the very subject they are experts in. That's the problem, Jodie.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
No, it's okay. Sorry. I was just going to say what you've just said. You've hit on is just happened quite recently, actually, with my 10-year-old boy. He's been going through a bit of a hard time, so he's having a bit of support at school. And he recently opened up about having an imaginary friend. But he didn't open up to me about this. He opened up to the school nurse.
Right.
And she had to relay back to me about this imaginary friend. And she said, has he spoken to you about this before? And I said, no. So I asked him, and she said, well, yes. She said, he's got an imaginary friend at home. But she said, but I wouldn't worry about it. She said, because it's a sign of intelligence. And I said, well,
it was actually deemed to be a sign of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. Yeah. That's what it was, a mental illness originally.
Yeah. Well, she said to me, I wouldn't worry about it because it's actually a sign of that he's an intelligent boy, and that he's quite bright and he takes things in, and he thinks about things quite a lot. And I said, well, he is a deep thinker. He's a very deep emotional boy anyway. But yeah, I mean, when I got home and I spoke to him about it, he told me that he'd been seeing this boy for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And he kicked him on the stairs one day, and I think he turned around and says, what did you do that for? And he says he's never seen him since. And this was I'd say about a month or two ago. So yeah.
Even parapsychology, psychology, and science has got a lot to learn. I mean, parapsychology, more open-minded. Psychologists, they're trained a certain way to think a certain way, and they always know best. And we all know that is not the case. I've just found a fantastic comment on here. This is my favourite one of the night so far. I've got to put this one up, Jodie. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is important. There it is. Fantastic. My new best pal for tonight. I don't like shit right now on 3 hours sleep, but I thank you for the sentiment. Right. Right. What we got is Stella. Let's pop this one up. Psychologists talk about their behind I've experienced. Oh, okay. Yeah. Next one is a child psychologist told my mother that it was just my imagination. I was a normal child. Yes, I was outside the house and she never kept me in. Okay, fantastic. Right, I think we need another clip now. This is where I tried to make direct contact with the said Frank. And I got a direct, very clear reply from what I assume is Frank. I was addressing Frank, and this male voice said, who are you? Which would be a pretty good question. This guy appears at Jodie's and wants to speak to Frank. Who are you? Is that fair? It's only a very short clip. Let's just play that now.
What happens generally is the energy builds a little bit at a time, and each time it comes and then it goes and it comes and it gets stronger and stronger until boom, there's a portal open.
Between 9 and 10 o'clock, around that hour, is every time is when I've heard that bang. When I heard the banging in the bathroom and when the basket, it's always around this time.
And that's about the time it was really strong in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know when I was?
Yeah.
Early on. So okay. Frank, if you're with us, can you give us some indication, please? Tap on the table or anything. Something obvious.
Wow. Who's there? You heard that? Could you hear that clearly?
Yeah.
Guys, viewers, watching, could you hear that? I directly addressed Frank. That sounded like a kind of middle-aged to elderly, well, in-between gentleman, didn't it? Who's there?
Yeah.
So, What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think definitely it was. It sounded almost like Paul, actually.
Do you know what? I thought that. There's a similarity.
Thinking about it, but now I've heard it, it does. There's a resemblance.
What,
So
let's play that one more time.
What happens generally is the energy builds a little bit at a time, and each time it comes and then it goes and it comes and it gets stronger and stronger until boom, there's a portal open.
Between 9 and 10 o'clock, around that hour, is every time is when I've heard that bang. When I heard the banging in the bathroom and when the basket, it's always around this time.
And that's about the time it was really strong in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know when I was?
Yeah.
Early on, yeah.
Early on, so, okay. Frank, if you're with us, can you give us some indication, please? Tap on the table or anything. Something obvious.
It's got that slight tone to it, hasn't it?
yeah,
So on a scale to 1 to 10, I was directly addressing nobody else, just Frank. And I just happened to get this male voice that responded straight away. And that wasn't on the voice recorder. That wasn't. That was straight into the microphone as we was filming that segment. Are you aware of that?
no,
You are now. That wasn't a voice recorder. He spoke directly into the microphone. Who's there?
Yeah,
So,
amazing.
amazing. So, you know what? Child psychologists, love to know your answer on that one. Do you know what I need to do one day, Jodie?
Yeah.
You know, you get the text-to-speech programs. I need to take my best recordings, run them through that, and see if it actually translates it to text. Because ambient sound resembling speech cannot do that. How's that for a plan? Does that sound good?
Sounds good, yeah, if you can get it to work.
Okay, let's jump into these. Residential hauntings, right. Yes, very clear. Stella, yes. Ellen, yep. Madney, you still not answered my question. Is that your name, or have you changed the word letters around? Yep. RF boy, yep, heard it. Kimmy, yes, an elder man. I totally agree. Yep. SJ playing. I need to know your name. I can't call you that all night. Okay. And then he says, hiya, Jodie.
Hi.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so let me jump back into this. Let's see where we are now. Done the Frank thing. This is quite interesting. When Channel 4 2020 Productions came around and they shot the documentary, you remember that when they were talking to you in the lounge, I took a recording and he went, it's Thomas. Remember? And they played the music over the top so nobody could hear it. Boom, 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 boom. Because, you know, this is the UK. This is not the US of A. This is the UK where, yeah, we want some stuff, but we don't want it to be too real, so we're going to sabotage it along the way. We just want entertainment. Okay. So listen to, I don't know if I've got the full clip here, actually. Now, what's quite interesting is, I think this is when we was at your place prior to that, and the word Thomas was mentioned. Let me just check this one. I could be wrong, but let's just try this one. There's a voice there. It's a woman. She says his name is Thomas. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Let me play again. Yeah.
Really clear.
Yeah, but that was way before we did the thing with the Channel 4 for
Right.
the TV documentary. And the same name, which we'll be playing later, exactly the same name came up when I was there with Simon Farnby and he was interviewing you.
Right, okay.
So Thomas obviously was very relevant, more relevant. I didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't even realise till today. I was like, hang on a second, Thomas. Yeah, that's Thomas that we got. You know. So, Jodie, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
For any parent that was in your situation, I was going to say, what would be your advice to them? But you're going to say, call Don. But so don't do that because that makes it too short of an answer. Okay. What would be your advice to them?
Well, from experience, I know that by talking about it a lot and encouraging it and taking photos and videos, you're only going to encourage it more. And
Exactly. That's a brilliant
yeah,
point.
and I've learned now to acknowledge it, but be at peace with it and accept it. And now because I understand it a lot more now, so I don't fear it anymore.
No.
I've done a lot of work on myself as well spiritually. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I just feel that maybe if I hadn't have probably tried to play investigator myself, I probably
Right.
wouldn't have encouraged it a little bit more, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense because what I've always
Yeah.
said is, if you show interest, you're going to get interest.
That's exactly, yeah, that's what I meant to, yeah.
And I'll give you an example of that, which is slightly different context. But there's a very nice lady I know in the UK called Annette. She lost her son, unfortunately. I think he was 16, 17. He used to go to his burial place every week, no problem. Come home, go there, flowers, the usual thing that people do. This one time, she decided to take a voice recorder with her. She knew what she known me for years. She knew what I did, so she took a voice recorder. Then she started getting things in the house getting a little bit weird. And she used to say, "Is that Billy?" Don't know, innit? But the point is, if you show interest, you will get interest.
Mhm.
Let's just imagine, hypothetically, there's 5 spirited people in the graveyard around Annette at the time. They see her come every week, not a problem. Yeah, she comes, she goes, they stay there. Oh, there's Annette. Okay, she's gone home again. Fantastic. She'll be here next week. Then she turns up with a voice recorder. Oh, she's interested. She wants to talk to us. Oh, let's go home with her.
Mm.
You show interest, you will gain interest.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You're absolutely, totally right on that. Okay. Let's just jump into the comments quick, Jodie. What's this one? George. Hello, George. George is a regular. He's a fantastic guy. I usually don't hear voices, but I did hear his name, Thomas. Oh, okay. All right. What's the next one? George again. Understanding removes fear. That is absolutely true. SJ playing. Jodie, you've got a fan, I feel. Okay. Residential hauntings, what we got here? What Jodie said is completely right. As I always say, the key is educating your client as well as solving their problem. And you know what? It is. It's as much to do with the client's mental welfare, mental state as anything. And this is why I have a problem, because I've shown on previous videos on this channel where I've gone round after somebody else has been in. The client's in a worse state than before they got there. They're absolutely petrified. There's a demon attached to your child. Seriously, come on. I mean, as a mother, Jodie, it doesn't matter what you put into words, but I guess that none of them words could actually really relay the unsettlement and the nervousness that you felt. Not just even when it's going on, even just being at home.
Mm. Yeah, because that's your safe place, isn't it?
It's your safe haven. It should be. It should be.
Your home is where you feel safe and where you feel that you haven't got to worry and you're not scared. But when things like that happen, you feel very.
Oh my God, what's going on? Or is it a ghost or is it not? Is my child crazy? Am I crazy? Is it just imaginary friend? All these questions and no answers.
Yeah. You feel very insecure and you just don't know, you don't know where to turn. Yeah, you do think you're going crazy.
Fortunately, you turned into the right corner. Well, I think so. We did a pretty good job. Right. Right. What we got next? Let's have a look. Amazing stuff. Thank you, Dawn. Okay. So where do we go next? So after the first visit, for some strange, unbeknown reason, Jodie, having just told you you've got a house full of spirity people and a portal instead of just one person, you was keen on me coming back. You was happy. You can't remember, can you? Okay, let me play this clip.
No, I can, yeah.
Yeah, it's because you'd now understood more the situation.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, let's play this one now.
Quite a few things stood out to me. The fact that I expected to get in touch with Frank or to find out what was happening with Ruby. We come up with completely different things. Something that happened quite a while back with Ruby and a friend that she had called Sarah has actually come through to us tonight. And we've actually heard a voice as well saying that she plays with Ruby, which was quite nice to hear as well. Well, we went into Ruby's bedroom and we felt somebody, but we didn't get any recordings. But when we went in Ollie's bedroom, that's when we got Sarah, and we actually heard her say, "I am Sarah."
And you're looking forward to Don coming back out?
Yeah, I am looking forward to Don coming back out.
Why is that?
Because it's interesting and it's just nice to know that he can contact whoever's here and give them peace of mind that everything's...
Jodie, just have a look. Come close to the camera.
My face expression.
No, come close to the camera a second. You changed your hair, but I don't think you aged either. I think we're doing pretty good from 10 years ago. I think we're doing pretty good.
I looked awful back then.
Oh my God. Right, George said, oh, hang on. What's this one again? Let me pop this one up. Part of fear is that you can't see who is communicating because it might not be what you want to be communicating with. Well, yeah, do you know what? You have no control over that. You get spiritual people coming through. When you go to a portal, I did a live, what was it, a video a little while ago. It's all about portals, Jenny. You need to watch that. It's quite interesting. Becky, I told you, she said it's the way in, but you have no control over that. It is literally an open door. You can have good, bad. You can have indifferent. You have no control over that. Not all spirits are good, and not all spirits around your child. I'm not talking about you. Are necessarily good. The imaginary friend may not be the imaginary friend it's pretending to be. And obviously, this is the big concern as a parent. You know, some parents, you know what? Quite often it will just be an imaginary friend. That's part of childhood. That's part of growing up, kind of thing. But I've got another clip I'm going to play in a second. Let's just jump onto this. Still, myself and Don will be happy to educate you. Okay, right? Yeah. Yeah, I've got some pretty good stuff on there. Okay. Then we're going to get serious in a minute, Jodie. Right, this is the interview. In fact, you know what's going to happen right now? We're very transparent on this show, Jodie. You will learn that. Don needs a pee break right now. So you got two choices. You can either talk for 2-3 minutes to the people, or I can just put everything off, just blank everything out for the next 2 or 3 minutes. What do you want to do? Do you want to keep talking, or do you want just...
You can blank it out because I need one too.
I thought, there it is, right there. And you know, some viewers might need one.
Oh, thank you.
Guys, we will be back in 2 to 3 minutes. Hang on, Joes. Hang on. Let me just bear me for a second. Oh, let's just look at the comments first. We'll do that. I think we'll do that when we go back. Right, so Jodie, you know on the bottom of your thing, have you got a mute and a stop cam?
Yeah.
Hit this one. And hit this one. And guys, we'll be back very shortly. Hi guys, we're back. Hold on. There we go. Oh, Jodie's just come back as well at the same time. Okay, hold on, Jodie. Oh, hold on. Da-da. I told you I wouldn't do that. I'd be sneaky. Hold on. What's this popped up advert? Go away. Let's see what we got here very quickly. We've had a little pee break. George, right, hold on, let's have a look. What's this one? Judy, does your daughter talk about that time? And if so, what does she think about it? She's older now. How old is she now?
She's 14 now.
Oh, of course, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
14. Wow.
Yeah. She doesn't remember it, but we openly talk about it, and she's absolutely fine with it.
And she doesn't have any experiences or anything now?
No, not Ruby. No, not my eldest. My youngest daughter does, yeah. But no, she doesn't at all.
Again, adults, 4 to 700 range on the nanometers. You know, child, 300, 380. Yeah. What happens is, as you get older, you know, the lens in your eyes. Children, their eyes, the lens in their eyes lets in more light naturally. That's what happens, young children. Yeah. When you get older, it's the calcium buildup that affects your eyes and reduces the whole spectrum. We actually see darker. You wouldn't believe it, but we actually see darker now than when we was little. That's the short version. Yeah. There you go. Right. Right, what else we got here? Kimmy. Okay. Hi all. Who's this? Richard, you're a little bit late to the party. It's a good job it's recorded. George. Oh, Ellie. Hi, Richard. Hi, Richard. George, I truly enjoy these live shows. Do you know, George, that's why we do this. That's why I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to plan these things out for 12 o'clock. And this is why certain guests force me to drink wine at 12 o'clock midday instead of 8 o'clock at night, Jodie, mentioning no names. Right. I've got to go pick up the wife, so I'll catch up with this lady. Talk to you soon, Ian. Okay, Ian. Ian runs a team in the UK, Jodie. Great guy. What's this one? My first one and enjoying it. Magnet. Yeah, she's been trying to get on every week. She sets her alarm. She misses it. She's missed every show, pretty much. This is the first one she's actually managed to hit, Jodie. So, what else have we got? Let's have a look. Bye.
Quite a bit, so I can't.
Huh? You're frozen.
Hear you properly.
You're frozen, Jodie. You look like a waxwork right now. Can you hear me, Jodie?
Yeah, it just keeps freezing.
Yeah, I saw you freeze there. You look like a bit of a Madame Two Swords kind of. But it was a good freeze, so don't worry about it. I know sometimes freezes can be not complimentary, but it was a good freeze. My Stella Maloney, my son is autistic, so I will never really be sure of anything he said, but he sure seemed real. He's grown up now, but still scared and doesn't sleep in his own room. Right, there we go. Right. The Axis. Hi, Don and Jodie. New guy. Axis, have you been on before? Not seen you before. Don't recognise the name. Another one. Oliver Kinchin. Welcome. Are you going to all join us next week as well? Right.
That's what else?
Right. Okay. Hold on. I've experienced this before. I don't know if it was a ghost or imagination. I saw a girl walking by me in the corner of my eye in a white dress. Any suggestions? Do you know what? If you were not under the influence of alcohol or anything else, and you can tell me that you saw a girl in a white dress, that's pretty descriptive. I would say that quite possibly. You didn't actually mention what age you are or were at the time, though. Okay. I mean, you know, Jodie, people talk about imagination. You do not imagine shit like that. You do not imagine seeing a woman in a white dress. It's a woman in a white dress or it's not. You don't just imagine it. You know? Okay, what else we got? George. Hang on. And your hearing is affected too, so you don't hear. Well, Yes and no, George. You know what? Scientifically, yeah, your hearing is affected as you get older. But my hearing, Rebecca, is absolutely spot on when she's talking out of the air, and other spirits and people can't hear it. Totally different frequency, probably something unknown. Right, what we got here? Let's have a look. Schizo or haunted? I don't know the percentages on that. A bit of both, I guess. Okay, so that's that. Right, let's see where we are now, Jodie. You'll be pleased to hear, Jodie, this is not going to be a 3.5 hour show like the last one. Oh my God. Right, this is the second night I came around and we did an interview. You ready for this, Jodie? Then we're going to start jumping into the deep stuff. Okay? This is Don. Tonight I'm back here at Jodie's with Tony. It's 30th of January. When we came last time, we came actually, Jodie, didn't we? Because you thought there may be a gentleman called Frank.
Yeah.
So we can check that out. And to be told that there was obviously quite a few of us, as I said. How did you feel about that?
Surprised.
You was a little bit freaked out, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did shock me a little bit.
The recordings was pretty good, wasn't they?
Yeah.
Tonight we've actually come back because there is a portal opening in the place, which has resulted in quite a lot of people coming through, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tonight we've had some very, very, very clear, loud replies, haven't we? Especially from Becky.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to try and draw a line with the situation, just resolve everything, because you're very nervous at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, on edge.
On edge.
Yeah.
Also, the children have been saying things, haven't they?
Yeah, it's like they've been interacting with something, which is unusual for them, really. It's that their behaviour is.
What was it she said, Ruby?
What, this time or?
This time, yeah.
This time.
Because there's quite a few things happened since last time when I was here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but now it's changed.
Yeah. Well, her behaviour's got worse over the last few weeks. I'm not sure whether that's something to do with what's going on at the minute or whether it's just her age, but yesterday she told me that she was scared of the dark. And then when I questioned her about the dark, she said that it was the ghosts that come really quick and then go again. And then when I asked her to explain to me what she meant, or like draw, imagine a picture of what it was that she's seeing, she just said it was magic.
Yeah, she's been talking about being magic people.
Yeah, she said it's just magic.
And is this supposed to be the same ghost that was actually playing with her, or these different ones?
Different ones, because she had a friend, or we call it a friend, called Sarah. It's the same. She had a friend called Sarah in our old house that she used to talk to quite a lot, and we thought that she brought her here.
General consensus being that think that Frank is actually Paul's father who passed.
Well, yeah, because when I questioned her about 6-7 months ago, she said, "Come and say hello to Frank, Mummy," when she was playing with a tea set. And then when I asked her who Frank was, she said, "It's Paul's daddy." Now, Paul hadn't been around for a while. She didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
So that just rang alarm bells. So it must be Frank. It must be his dad who passed 12 years ago.
And how old is your daughter?
She's 4.
She's 4. Let's just think about that for a second. Your daughter has produced a name, Frank, which is clearly identified as connected to the other guy. What's his name? Paul. You're frozen again, Jodie. You look like... Oh, no, you're not. You blinked. You're okay. So let's put this in context from a child psychologist point of view. It's all imaginary friends. That's all it is. We have a 4-year-old girl. A 4-year-old girl. Never heard of the paranormal. Not watched Ghost Adventures or any such thing. Had no priming or kind of been educated in that way, in any way, shape or form. A 4-year-old girl. She comes up with a name, Frank, who just happens to be connected to Paul, who just happens to speak Spanish which she identified with because she watched Dora the Explorer, which is Spanish stuff, words and stuff. Who also said he went outside for a cigarette, which I'm really pleased about because you know what? When I die, I know I can still have a smoke. That makes me very happy. Okay, I'm hoping I can get a glass of wine with that one as well, Jodie. You then asked Paul, did he smoke? Yeah, he did. No. They're all 100% clear hits. There's a billion names out there. She identified the name Frank, Spanish, and he smoked and connected with Paul. How do you just... You've got to be in total denial. These psychologists, child psychologists. Got to be. What's your thought, Jodie?
I just don't think they like to put a label on it. I think it's just easier for them
It's
to
not a
just
label.
say, oh,
It's not a label.
well, not even a label.
I am the expert. I've got my degrees. I'm earning mega $1,000 a year. I've got the answers to everything. Oh, FC UK. I don't know what's going on here, so we'll just put it in this box and keep it there. That's what it's all about. Because I can't explain it, and I'm a professional, and I'm supposed to explain everything. That's what it's about. You know. Okay, let me just jump into the comments, Jodie. Oh, the other thing I wanted to touch on is what you said. Now, John, we went from Frank. She set up. I mean, I saw this. There was a little tea table set up with little plastic child cups, and there was a place there for Frank to drink his imaginary cup of tea. Play set. But you said her behaviour changed. And it would appear from that segment, it was around the time when it became, let's say, more than just Frank. Would that be right?
Sorry, you broke up there. You keep freezing on the screen.
No, you keep freezing. We're good. It's you. Okay. So, no, what I was saying, Jodie, it's all right if there's a delay, that's not a problem. You said her behaviour changed.
Yes, our behaviour changed, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when it was Frank, there wasn't a problem. And then from what I can ascertain from what you were saying there, when all of a sudden it was more than Frank, that's when her behaviour seemed to change. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think after that, I think from what I can remember, she started playing a little bit. It was a long time ago, but
I understand that.
I think she's...
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Do you know what? I'm going to kick you out of the studio, Jodie. It's the one.
Yeah.
Then reconnect again. So I'm going to kick you out now and then just reconnect. Yeah. Okay? Hold on a second. Where's my mouse gone? Here it is. Hold on. Okay, so I booted Jodie out because the connection was crap. She's going to be coming back in a minute and hopefully that will rectify that situation. But like I was saying, guys, this is a 4-year-old child who comes up with, miraculously, the name Frank, who is a family member, who speaks Spanish. That's a big one. And like I said to Jodie, how does she understand Spanish or words of Spanish? Because she watches Dora the Explorer, so that took care of that one. And he smoked as well. 4-year-old child. To that point, she was perfectly happy with Frank. She used to set up a little tea party plastic kiddie thing. Everything was fine. And then it would appear other spirits kind of introduced. And at that point of time, her behaviour changed. That's interesting. Very interesting. Welcome back. Okay. Right, let me just jump on the comments here. Stella, my son said one of the spirits felt bad and had red eyes. He still talks about it. He was only 6. Then, so I don't know if it was imagination. I don't know. Of all the things I've done over all the... I've never experienced anything personally with red eyes. But then again, I'm not a child. but sees in nanometers at 380. Right, George, let's have a look what we got here. George, doesn't seem to be coincidence. Jodie's correct. As you are, most professionals by the book learn well experienced. Yep. Stella again, my child's psychologist said my son didn't have psychosis, but couldn't explain the people he saw. Of course they couldn't explain it, because that's exactly what we're talking about. They are professionals. Anything they can't explain, we'll just put in a box and put it away on a dusty shelf in a corner. And Stella then says he was 5. That's spooky, Stella. Yeah, and you know it actually is spooky. Right, we're going to get into a little bit deeper here, Jodie. Conscious of the time, and I don't want to be up all night. We have been known to do 3.5-hour shows. This is not going to be one of them. Right, then we had a call from a production company. Well, I did. Simon Farmby. We've done, they was doing a thing, a TV series, wasn't they, called Man vs. Weird. And they was picking the best from all around the world in their each particular subject. And somehow they landed on Don Phillips. And then they decided, instead of doing a 10-minute segment when they saw the stuff that I was doing, they said, Don, we want to do an entire show about you, a full 1 hour. Okay, we can do that. I was elated. I thought, fine, my stuff's going to get out there to a bigger audience. Simon came around to the workshop, says, have you got any pending cases? Yep, there's Jodie. She wants me to pop back because you just, a couple of weeks before, said, Don, can you pop round? I think things might have changed a little. Remember? That coincided with the production thing. So we popped around to Jodie's. That's what we did. I rang you. You said, that's fine. And we dropped around. So let's play this clip now because this is pretty interesting. This is going to last 8 minutes. Okay?
The UK is buzzing with paranormal activity, but if there's one person I've just got to spend the night with before this is all over, it's got to be Don Phillips. And tonight's the night. I think Don's my favourite psychic.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing? Wow, this is it.
It is indeed.
The shed.
I tried to call it the workshop.
The workshop. Sorry, the workshop.
Come in, Tommy.
Thanks. This is where it all happens.
It is. This is my second home.
Or is this a sort of hotbed for spirits?
Oh, this is definitely a hotbed. I've got lots and lots of spirits here with me.
Do you have conversations with them?
All the time. To me, they are no different to your friends, apart from I can't see them.
Do you have some favourite people that you talk to?
The most prominent one is Becky.
Will we hear Becky tonight?
I will guarantee you we'll hear Becky tonight.
Really?
Yeah, the guys are looking forward to it.
So they're dead people?
Some of them. Not all spirits have actually been people in the past.
Do you get scared?
Oh no, I'm not scared of anything like that. That's not a problem to me.
Don, I'm very new to this game. I've never experienced anything like this before. Is there anything I can get involved with, help you with, or talk to the spirits?
There is a case that I actually attended recently that had a lot of problems, and I did actually promise the young lady I would pop back to check things out. She's asked me to pop back at some stage to make sure everything's still okay. If you want to accompany...
On a mission?
On a genuine mission.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey Jodie.
Alright.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Nice to see you.
And you? Hello.
Hi Jodie, I'm Simon. Hello, nice to meet you. Jodie's a single mum who's convinced her house is haunted. She's called on Don to find out who the ghosts are by recording them.
You feel a little bit uneasy again? Yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to take a walk around now, and then
okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
While Don's on a recce, I find out more from Jodie about her unwelcome house guests. So Jodie, you had some problems with spirits before and Don kind of sorted them out for you. Do you trust him to clear out the place?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because when he came around last time, he came around with, he did a full exorcism on the house, and instantly I felt at ease, I felt so much better, and the kids felt happier, and, for a good couple of months. They didn't mention anything, and they were sleeping fine.
Do you think you're in touch with sort of the spirits?
certain parts of the house, I'll feel like my heart's just racing for no reason.
It's quite simple. Jodie is quite sensitive to you guys, and she's not happy with you being here, and she's got children, and she's worried. So I'm requesting, please, will you just move on somewhere else? Just a loud yes would be very nice.
It's quite intense, isn't it? When he comes and does his stuff and
Yeah.
it goes through his body and he sort of starts...
Yeah, at first it scared me a little bit because
Yeah,
obviously it's out of the norm. You know, you don't really know what to expect. But I can say 100%, I don't think he's putting it on.
Jodie's convinced, and I'm really hoping Don will find something. Minutes later, he seems to have made contact at the top of the stairs.
Guys, this feels really, really strong. I'm assuming that it's not all good, so what I need you to do is watch... Oh, here we go again. Becky needs you and the guys to just watch Jodie and everything so I can get around to sort this out properly.
Don believes he's channeling a spirit entity through his otherworldly friends.
We'll do our best. It's important you hear this one. Oh, just give me a second. Can you hear? We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Can you hear that? This is my guys talking. You have to excuse me because it's very, very strong and it really affects me. This is the guys. I've just said I need to watch over Joe till I get back and sort it out, and it says we'll do our best. I shouldn't say what it said actually, but you'll hear it quite clearly.
Okay. Don's convinced he's recorded voices, and while I'm trying my best, it just sounds like static.
Can you not hear that?
Best is really clear.
Yeah.
I still can't hear them.
Can you not hear that? Without trying to put it in your mind, he says, we will do our best. But they talk like that. It's not like me saying to you, we'll do our best. They'll go, we'll do our best. It's slightly elongated.
Okay.
This one, there's a load of them. That's exactly what's been said there. And that's Becky. That is Becky, yeah.
Really? She's here then?
Oh, she's always here.
What is it that happens to you physically when you were here?
Energy.
When you
the spirit energy,
really
I'm extremely susceptible to it, and I can literally differentiate between a male, a female, and a child, as Jodie will tell you. There's a very strong gentleman here that I'm aware of, and very strong gentleman. He's all over me again now. I can feel it. Give me the courtesy of giving me your first name first of all, if possible, please. Can I have a first name, please? When I do Jodie, I'll drop round tomorrow night, get to the bottom of it once again.
Thank you.
We'll sort it, don't we?
Well, what a night. You know, we've had thousands of years of belief in the unexplained, and I guess it's very much alive in the 21st century, you know, whether we're talking about healers, psychic energy, or ghost hunters. And I guess we'll continue to be fascinated by the mysterious for many, many centuries to come.
During the time spent in my workshop and during the production for Channel 4, the crew heard Becky speak, the difference being this time it was coming from the air and without the use of the recorder. We did use the recorder, but this was only on playback after they had actually said what they had heard. Becky answered questions. It was the crew who told me what they'd heard. The final response from Becky to them was, "This interview is over." The crew were astounded. Even so, this evidence, this footage, was cut and was never aired or made part of the programme. For the most part, I feel that myself and the team and the events of that evening were totally misreported. I have no objection to people airing footage if it was the case that nothing occurred and nothing happened. Any production screened on TV should give a true
account of what actually happened. Suppression does happen, and suppression will continue. It's only when people are fully made aware of all the information can they form their own conclusions. I did receive negative feedback from a handful of people when this programme aired, but I have never been responsible for the pre or post production of the programme or the editing involved.
And we're back. So, guys, Simon Farnby couldn't hear. We'll do our best. There was complaints about that from the public, who said that's bang out of order. We heard it. Why couldn't he hear it? You know what? Because he was instructed not to hear it. And then, going back to earlier, it's Thomas. There it was again. Why they was there, it's Thomas. And what did they do, Jodie? Boom, 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 boom. They play music over the top to try and disguise the reply. That, unfortunately, people of the US, is the state of paranormal in the UK, because it can't be too real. It's got to be entertainment purposes only. If it's too real, it takes people out of their comfort zone. I wasted so many years in the UK, all the time I was there. I did the breakfast TV shows, a couple of documentaries, fine, but you know what? At the end of the day, it was edited. I will tell you, Jodie, after we left your place, we went back to my workshop. The thing I was referring to, we sat there. There was, the kind of producer and the presenter, and then the cameraman. No, not the producer, sorry. The cameraman and the presenter. They said, "Can we hear Becky tonight?" I went, "Yeah, you can hear Becky." Because I knew the energy was good. So we went into the workshop. And they said, "Okay." So I said, "Becky, can you tell me what your favourite flowers are?" Out of the air, Jodie, not on recorder, out of the air, crystal clear and pretty loud, chrysanthemums. They looked at me and said, Did Becky just say chrysanthemums? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Hello?
George.
Oh, Jodie.
I don't know if you...
Jodie, hold on, Jodie. This is George. He's a regular. He's a fantastic guy. Okay, George.
I don't know if you know this or not, but people are seeing stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations.
Oh.
You're back now.
I'm back now.
You're back on.
Oh, that will be when we was playing the piece from the Man vs. Weird. Okay.
Back on, so I will let you get back on with the show.
George, just tell me, did you see that segment of Man vs. Weird with the presenter on the landing?
It cut out for me. I don't know anybody else, but for me, where the gentleman just was saying that he didn't hear anything.
Okay.
And it cut out to that stream unavailable.
Okay, the copyright, obviously. All right, George. George, you're a gentleman, sir. I appreciate that. But we're back now, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, George. Bye, my friend.
Sure, no problem, Don.
Okay, Jodie. We got cut out. I thought I might get a naughty Don. You can't do that. Okay, so we'll do our best. They got that bit. The bit that cut out on was we mentioned previously. It's Thomas. You know, way back when we started this stream. What people will not have seen is he said, "It's Thomas again," and then the production company played music over the top, boom, 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 to try and drown it out. Despicable. Absolutely despicable. You know what? I put my balls on the line. I was there with a production company. Can you imagine if I'd have gone to yours, Jodie, and we got absolutely nothing? Nothing. They would have put it out and they would have gone to town on that. Unfortunately for them, we got something. So they play music over the top instead. Oh, hang on, Jodie. It's a hotline right now. Oh, it's Steve. Hang on. Hello, Steve.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm all right. You're on a live stream right now. Steve Murray, people.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, do me a favour. Do me a favour. Drop onto my link on the Facebook page. Okay. For the live show. Because I want to bring you on just for 5 minutes in a bit. Does that work?
Okay.
Can you do that? Can you do that?
Yep, will do.
Okay. Oh, I need to send you a link so you can join. Okay.
Send me a link then.
Yeah, I need to ask you a question about Jodie, who's on right now. Okay, pal, I'll do that.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. Wow, fantastic. We got Steve Moe going to join us on the show, Jodie. Hold on. Hang on, invite, copy link. Let me just send this to Steve. How are you doing for time, Jodie?
Well, good.
You good?
Yeah.
You know what? It's a fantastic show. You're doing really good. Really, really good. For the show that almost never was. Hold on. Let me just get this up. Search Messenger. Right, Steve. Well, I'm going to send him the link now. Okay, so Steve hopes he'll be joining us very shortly. Unexpected pleasure. Right, like I was saying, anyway, they play the music over that. Let's see where that's going to throw me a little bit now. Hold on. Where we get up to? We've done that. Okay, so you got a little bit of the copyrighted material. And then after that, I return to Jodie's for another little interview with her. Okay. Before I do that, let's go to comment. 41? What? Hang on a second. I can't read all these out. We've got 41 comments, Judy, since we last looked at the comments. Hang on. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah, we know about that. That's now been rectified. George, there we go. Jodie, don't mention you're sensitive in the show. Are you still sensitive to spirits? Good question.
Yeah.
You are, because you know what? It wasn't just the case that your daughter had a imaginary friend, but it was after a little while after that you contacted me again and said, done something don't quite feel right, remember? And that's the second time why I came round. And that's why I said, guys, can you make sure everything's all right until I get around? And they said, we'll do our best. Yeah. Right, let's have a quick look at what else we've got here. Stella, my son used to run from spirits screaming whenever he went in the house. It followed. I couldn't wait to get him to school for a bit of peace for him. Bless her. Okay, so. Oh, Mr. Mara's now in the green room. Steve, I'll be bringing you in a second, my friend. Right, where do we get to next? Jodie, we've done that. Right, this is the second part of the interview, Jodie. This is the second time I came around.
On the 11th, last night, I was here with a TV crew filming at one of our past clients who was encountering problems in her home. We sorted it out in the end with an exorcism. Myself and a priest attended. Everything went fine. It was successful. Several months later, Jodie suspected she had more guests. Last night, I came out with the crew and confirmed she had more guests. Although there was nobody or nothing, didn't appear to be anything really, really negative, it was very, very strong. So this evening, myself and Jodie, before we rectify the situation, intend to try and dig a little bit deeper and get some answers. So Jodie, you suspected that, once again, you've got some visitors.
Yeah.
I confirmed that last night with some very loud, clear recordings upstairs on the landing. There's a difference though this time, isn't there? You're not actually afraid as you was last time. So what's changed there?
I think it's a case of understanding it a lot more. Since you came before, well, when you first came the first time, I didn't really understand what it was all about. It was all new to me. But now, I don't seem to fear it as much as I used to.
You are very, very sensitive to spirit energy. You know. What would you say to people that still insist it's all in the mind?
I think it's a load of rubbish, really.
It's one of those things, isn't it, where you need to experience something.
Yeah.
Do you know, in fact, that's quite a good question. You know, before you actually experienced something yourself, was you in two minds about it? Whether it was or whether it wasn't?
Yeah. I've always wanted to experience something or feel something, which I hadn't before. It was always wanting something to happen. And obviously, since being a little girl, I've always been interested in paranormal.
As many people.
Yeah, but, and I've obviously heard stories from other people, but never actually witnessed or experienced anything myself.
But an interesting point is, the stories you've heard from other people it wasn't a case of somebody told you something and you suddenly thought, oh, I've got ghosts in my house. At the end of the day, you've got young children. The last thing that you wanted to think was you've got spirit people in here interacting, because that's what was actually happening, wasn't it?
Yeah, with my children, they were talking to them.
The tea party.
Yeah.
She'd made a space for this friend of hers, which she found quite alarming.
Yeah.
She mentioned names of family members that have been deceased a while that she couldn't have known about, and even described what they looked like.
On a few occasions, yeah.
And the fact that he spoke a different language. So tonight, me and Jodie, there's only us here alone. We are going to interact with these spirit personalities, hopefully get some more information, because we don't feel like we want the full picture, don't we? As a picture as possible. Last night, the guys, my guys, they were saying, when I said, can you watch out for Jodie until I get round tomorrow night, being tonight, what did Becky say? Do you remember?
We will do our best.
We will do our best. How clear was it?
Really clear.
I think we should play a couple of the recordings from last night. These will be broadcast next month in October as part of the Paranormal documentary, assuming that they're actually included. But either way, we'll actually play them now. What do you think, Jodie?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Brilliant. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, Jodie, the one that you just mentioned, when we asked Becky and the guys if they will watch over you until I managed to get back, what was it again?
We'll do our best.
Okay, this is that recording, and this is the first time I actually heard it in silence. So let me just play that now for you. I want to put it in here, it may help.
Okay. Yeah, it's clear enough.
It is very, very clear, isn't it? I'll just play it now to the microphone. That will do our best. It's extremely clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
That must have been quite reassuring for you.
Yeah, it was.
You've got a lot of confidence in the guys and Becky, haven't you?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So that was that one. Shall we just play one more? And then... Okay. So, like I said, they played the music over it on the actual documentary. But we had the recording. Right. And Jodie, we have an unexpected pleasure. We have another guest. Let's welcome Steve Merrer, very, very, very close personal friend, and probably one of the only guys in the world on a parapsychological front that I would actually trust to be honest and tell it the way it is. So let's bring Steve in now. Are you right for time, Jodie?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey! And there's the main show. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing well. I'm okay, thanks.
Fantastic. This is an unexpected pleasure, sir.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It really was. So I don't know.
Unexpected to me as well.
Well, at least you got your pajamas on, so that's a good thing. That's something we've got to be grateful for,
Yeah.
So I don't know how familiar you are with Jodie's case.
I am. I'd just been introduced to you. I think I remember the Jodie's case.
Yeah, we did the farm together, didn't we? Was you at the farm?
Jodie obviously came to the farm. She's on the team for that short
right.
time. A video I've still got yet to put out from 10 years ago. The farm. The haunted farmhouse. Wow.
I know, where's the years gone? You were looking a bit puffy in the cheeks in that video there, Don. Yeah.
Do you know, I thought that, but you know what? That's before.
A bit like me now. You mean you've
yeah, Steve. Looking this good 10 years later takes practice. And let me find my best comment. No, I've got to show you my favourite comment of the night, Steve.
Oh, your favourite comment?
My favourite comment. Hold on a second. Let me find this. No, it's a really, 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 really good comment. I liked it lots. Hang on. Oh my God, I don't even think that's even possible. Oh wow, there's so many on here. I can't do it. Anyway, a guy pops on and went, "Wow, Don, you haven't aged." I'm going to take a screenshot of that and just put it in a frame somewhere, just for my own, Okay, so anyway, Jodie's case. 4-year-old daughter, imaginary friend. Okay, short version is, she identified him and the name was given as Frank. She said he spoke Spanish. One would say, how does a 4-year-old daughter, young girl, know Spanish? That's because she watched Dora the Explorer, which does a lot of Spanish stuff.
Yeah.
Where is he now? Jodie said. He's gone outside for a smoke, for a cigarette, for a fag, or whatever. Jodie asked her then partner from way back, did he smoke? He went, yeah. That's 3 out of 3, Steve.
That's interesting, isn't it? Suddenly can't. I can't lip sync.
What?
I can't lip sync. Don, I've lost your audio. No audio. Does one understand? No.
Can't hear you, Don.
Can't hear you. 1 minute. I thought you'd both gone, but you're. It's just that you were very quiet. Yeah.
No, I can't hear him either.
Batteries. Yeah, it's always batteries. He knows not to rely on batteries. They drain too quick. Suddenly and inexplicably most of the time. Yeah. Well, that's me. I've ruined the show. I've been on 2 minutes. There we have it, you see. Jackie's here laughing her head off. It wasn't me, I didn't do anything. Yeah. It's him and he's not prepared, Don.
You'd think he'd be prepared, wouldn't you?
He's
never prepared.
Come on, get those batteries in. What's up with you? Right. Everything was fine until we had that person said you hadn't aged. Hey, the spirit's trying to tell us something there, Don. Yeah? Well, I'll just sit here drinking my lemsip out of my mug. It's got Steve on it with a ghost. No promotion intended. You can tell us a Brits, can't we, eh? Lemsip in a mug. Right. We might have something.
1, 2, 3. Am I there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's how it works. You know what? I got to say.
Yeah.
Dollar Tree batteries, $1.25 for a pack of 4. What do you expect? Come on now.
I know. No
No,
journalists.
but seriously, these batteries have been going ages. I've got my XLR mic plugged in through my video camera and blah, 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 and everything. So anyway, we're back. Good to see you, Steve.
Yes, and yourself?
Right, let's just jump into the comments. Steve, childhood psychologists. They seem to put everybody into a box. It's all imaginary friends. There's no other reason. What I was explaining earlier is that's because they're paid under thousands a year to be the experts in everything. And when they get something they can't explain, I got to chuck it away.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, sorry, maybe. Yeah, childhood. Well, you say children's psychology. Yeah, it's child psychology is a bit of a tricky one because they haven't studied parapsychology for a start.
Exactly.
If you look at sort of parapsychological research regarding young children and the phenomena, it's quite high. There's a lot of children that do report. But now we also know that children's perception starts to change around about 8 and 9 years of age.
Exactly.
And actually do physically see differently than adults do. And that's
because when you get to that age, that's when the calcium starts. I mean, children, their eyes naturally let in more light than adults. And as you get older, it's the buildup of calcium which dulls your spectrum. That's what it is.
Really, it's forever changing, as we know. I mean, as we get older, eyesight degrades.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what? Adults 400 to 700 nanometers. Children 380, which is just below, which enables them to see things that we cannot see.
Exactly, but it's not just about sometimes seeing. It's about the whole auditory system is affected here in children because it's not just a visual cortex and stuff. It's different, but it's also the mechanism of hearing and experiencing other things around us that adults might be oblivious to. I'm not saying all children, but what I am saying is that the scope of encounters, children seem to be very high on the list. More girls than boys, funny enough, about 70 by 30%.
Yes.
Are very intuitive in regarding other phenomena or something else around that we might not actually be perceiving of.
I mean, the ultraviolet range is invisible at 315 nanometers.
Mm.
Okay.
300. The thing is that there have been numerous tests done with 400. And I have to say, the tests are really interesting, the results from children that have been taking place around the world. There was a lot of tests carried out on Swiss children. And the results were remarkable regarding how they can quickly perceive things differently than, say, somebody of an 18 or 19-year-old.
68%. No, 78%. That was the percentage on that you're just talking about right now.
Yeah.
78%. That is a lot.
It is a lot, and it's not by chance that. I mean, results show after result after result show the same thing.
The same thing.
Is that from being born upwards, their perception is different to the early ages of, say, 8 or 9. However, the whole auditory system as well, and the whole system of how they perceive the five senses are a lot more than enhanced than we are now. It's like the older we get, the more dumbed down our senses become, unfortunately.
To a point. I mean, I can never quite work out. I mean, I'm getting older, Steve. I'm like 57 in April. 57. How did that even happen? What's happened to the last 20 years of my life? But there's an auditory range, I believe, that's actually not even been identified, because my hearing would degrade at the rate of everybody else's, and yet I can still hear the guys when you can't. You've been there, you've experienced that.
Yeah.
Now, on a scientific level, if my hearing is degrading within the same range as everybody else's, that should not happen. So there's got to be something extra.
Yeah, there's definitely something different between clairaudient abilities
and the general degradation.
And standard harmonic hearing.
Harmonic,
I mean, we even know that the possibilities that the harmonics aren't even utilized. The ear might not even be utilized to hear those things in a clear audience state. Because we know that there's no evidence of the eardrum vibration, which we normally get through harmonics, taking place at the time of clairaudient, which would mean that they're obtaining the information and hearing it in another way.
Another way, exactly. Now, I have actually got some information on this, which nobody else knows about, but this is the Supernatural Files. So what I'm going to do on the next show, I'm going to go into some detail into, people say, like George, he'll say, yeah, but like on the last one, he said, oh, there's a breath into a video. How can they have a breath when they haven't got lungs? That's like basically saying, how can they talk when they've not got a voice box? I can actually explain that. That's quite a big one. So you'll enjoy that one. That will be on the next show of the Supernatural Files. This is information I've obtained through Becky. I'm going to go into quite in-depth discussion of actually how that occurs. And this is a new one. This is the first. So I'll give you the heads up when that show's ready.
Yeah, interesting.
So, Jodie.
Yeah.
Fantastic case. Let's jump into another clip. Let me get my blind specs on, because this one thing that I can't avert is readers, Steve.
That's a good question.
Go.
You were saying about it's more in females than it is in males. Do you know why it's...
You broke up, Jodie. Start again. We've lost Jodie. Oh, she's coming back.
No, she's back. She was just...
Jodie, wave. We've not got her back yet.
She's frozen.
Oh, no, she's kind of freezing. Jodie, okay, question, go for it.
So when you said about when children can sense something more being a female than male, why is that?
That's you, Steve.
Oh, sorry, right, yeah. That's one of the really important questions which we've been looking into for quite some time. It's like, those that were tested between the ages of 7 and 12 in regarding PK abilities, it was females more. We believe it's something to do with the way the brain works in females, and there is significant differences between the thought process of women. I mean, some guys will be saying, "Oh, yeah, of course, we always know that," but in a literal sense, the females do the brain works slightly different than males do, and maybe that's something to it. Maybe that might be the. I mean, if you look through history, through the most prolific experiences, tend to have been around women. Even if you go back to the biblical days and you talk about sensitives and prophets and things like that, I mean, we hear about the men, but I mean, that's only because the women have been subdued over the years, and the women were the most significant in regarding their abilities, hence the witches and all those sort of things. We don't really know, but we think it is there is a biological, chemical reasoning behind why females seem to be more acutely involved with experiencing the paranormal at younger ages than males are. We haven't got an exact figure or reasoning behind it yet, but we're seemingly thinking it's something to do with biologics and the chemistry.
Okay.
Jodie's was a most intriguing case, Stephen, and what I was saying to earlier, originally I was appointed to go and see Jodie to see if her 4-year-old daughter had an imaginary friend called Frank, or whether it was something else. Obviously, it was something else. But I was also explaining earlier that how difficult it is in my situation. The first time I met Jodie, to then have to tell her you've got a house full of spirity guests, and you've got a portal, and guess what? And I brought my friend Becky along. She's a spirit person with the guys. They're going to help sort it out. You've got to be very tactile when you're kind of presenting that to a client. Obviously that's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just jump into another clip. Jodie, you've been fantastic. I really appreciate it tonight. I really do. That almost didn't happen. Right. Oh, before we do that, I played a clip earlier, Steve. I'm going to play this again for your benefit. Right, just watch this.
Tell me what your favorite thing in the whole world is.
My mommy and daddy.
Oh, that's sweet. All right, now, who is Emily?
She's my best friend.
She's your best friend?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you known Emily? 2 months? No, 2 years?
Uh-huh.
So you've known her since you were 2?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. And does Emily like living here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Does she like the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So who is Sophia? Look at the camera.
She's she's Emily's best friend.
Oh, Sophia is Emily's best friend.
Yep.
Okay. So the 3 of you hang out then? Look at the camera.
The 5 of us, Evans, us 3, and that's always girls.
Okay, so it's you.
That's all that I can think of.
Okay, so it's you, Emily, Sophia, Ashley, and Evan.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
like I said, your situation, Jodie, plays out thousands of times around the world every day. There's something to it. Before I bring Steve back in, I just want to play one more clip, Steve. And I'm going to cut this one short, okay?
Hey, Katie. Who is Carlos?
He's my best friend and he's my brother.
Okay. Carlos. Where's Carlos at right now?
He's right beside me.
Right beside you. Okay. And you played with Carlos at school?
Yes.
And does Carlos play with your friends at school?
Yes.
Can they see Carlos?
Yes.
And then Carlos goes home with his mommy and daddy at the end of school?
They come with you and Mama.
Okay, so when we was at Buffalo Wild Wings the other day, as a family, Carlos was there?
Yes, he was.
He rode in the car with us. He got out the car, and then he sat down at the table with us at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes, he did. He did.
Okay, what is Carlos doing right now?
He's playing around me.
How old is Carlos?
3 like me.
Okay.
How did you meet Carlos?
I went at school and meet Carlos.
So you met Carlos at school?
Yes.
So Carlos came from school
Yes.
to the house with you?
Yes.
Wait, why you look behind me? Was something behind me?
No.
So Carlos just decided to come home with you one day from school.
Yes.
And you told.
Fascinating. So many children. But you know what? This is the thing. This is the whole thing. Jodie's child, 4 years old, etc., etc., etc. They've not been primed at that age with ghosts, paranormal, apparitions, etc., etc., etc. Steve?
What I find interesting when you look at these videos, and I've seen a lot of these, is that on more occasion than normal, the children are usually glancing to the right over the right shoulder, or
I was going to say that.
or they're usually the their friend is usually to their right-hand side.
Yeah.
In most cases, that's correct. Yeah. There was a series of studies done in China not long ago regarding an illness where people were collapsing, and it started off with them looking at as if there was something over the right-hand shoulder, and they were saying that there was part of the brain that might have been activated during these experiences. I have to say, it's interesting that why it tends to be over the right shoulder. A lot of the kids actually look to the right as well, more so than ever to the left. I don't know if that's just unusual, but it's if you were to do statistics, it'd be quite a high amount of children that say, "Oh yeah, they're on my right," all the way over the right shoulder when they're looking.
But you know what, Steve? Just like reincarnation or anything else, I've always equated this to, the scientists, all these years and all these millions spent searching for dark matter. They never found it. They never found anything to suggest, cause and effect. We see the effect, the cause must be dark matter. They can't find it. There is more evidence for what we're just, paranormal-wise, everything, but especially what we're discussing now, and reincarnation and everything else, than there ever is for any other, anything else of scientific study, which is a little bit out there.
Yeah, it would seem that if Chinese spirits seemingly have,
there is something.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be able to go where they want to go as well.
I did this case. I went to Jodie's. I went looking for Frank. We've got clear, concise voices. We have verified information. I'm not being funny, but if that was a detective on a case,
yeah,
yeah. The evidence is there.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of evidence.
Just keep on ignoring this shit all the time. It drives me insane, whether it's childhood psychologists or whether it's the skeptics or Chris French, for example, just chucking a name out there. I mean, Chris is a great guy. I get on well with Chris. But Steve, something has got to change. It's time. It's time.
They're protected by the fact that...
No, they're not protected, Steve. They think they're protected. You know what? Me and you, the shit and the work that we've done, okay, we have got so much to counter any single one argument in any part of paranormal.
Well, yeah, I mean, their process, Donna, is basically you take your child in to see them at 4 years of age, you tell them what your child is experiencing and what they've said.
And we put them in a box.
Basically, he's going to say, look, it's part of a child's imagination.
Exactly. We put them in a box.
And secondly, don't worry about it because they seemingly grow out of it by the age of 8 or 9. Well, that's when their perceptions change.
That's when their eyes change. That's when the calcium starts building up. That's when the whole spectrum things change.
Yeah. And the psychology of the child doesn't change. I mean, we do, I guess they do to some degree, obviously, as we get older, but not in regarding how we understand perception and
but it's shifted, because a few years ago, it would be a sign of schizophrenia. Now it's a sign of an intelligent child.
Well, yeah, I mean, some children are more intuitive than others.
I know. But, Steve, it's time to challenge everything. It is time to really just challenge science directly and publicly. We have got enough shit to just totally trance everything. You know that? You know that. Every single straw man argument, we've got enough to just blow that shit down. And I'm not being funny and I'm not trying to put sprinkles on it, but you know what? Because of me and who I am and what I do, and you and your background and what you do, we could just, Steve, we could steamroll it.
Well, I guess there's a lot of people out there like Jodie who's got young children and who have those similar type of experiences. You know what? There's no harm in taking them to a child psychologist if that's what they want to do, but it doesn't resolve the situation.
No,
they're not going to be able to say, "Oh, right, well, take your child back home now," and he or she's not going to have
she'll
those.
Be fine. She'll grow out of it.
Yeah, I mean, what basically they're doing is they're going to be telling people like Jodie to say, and they're going to say, well, you know what, your child's going to grow out of it. It's nothing to be concerned about. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And let time do its job. But what time's going to do its job is your child's going to grow up, and their perceptions are going to change.
Yeah.
So in other words, wait until they don't perceive them anymore. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Sorry, just give me a second. The short version of that, Steve, everything that you've just said, is don't worry about it. They'll grow out of it. It's not real. In a nutshell, that's what it is. Right, I need to jump to another clip now because I'm conscious of Jodie, who needs to get to bed because she goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night. Can you believe that shit? Wow. My glasses broke. Did you see that? Look at that. Oh, hold on. Look at that. I mean, seriously, come on. What the hell? So just bear with me, guys. So, Jodie, things got a little bit serious. Now, part of me being there, it wasn't just for me to educate you as to Becky, the guys, what's possible, what's not. Portals and introduce you to the fact that you've got a lot more spirits than Frank. Somebody mentioned an exorcism, so I said, yeah, okay, fine, we can do that. So we did an exorcism. And I was there with the priest as well on a separate occasion.
So is this, when you say an exorcism, do you mean a blessing?
Well, exorcism / blessing, but the point is...
Yeah, I'm only saying that, Don, because the terminology in the US is exorcism, you know.
And do you know what? The thing is this. Terminology and labels, to me, I'll be quite frank and honest, exorcism, work, not work, whatever, I'll sit on the fence on that. And I'll say that publicly because of my knowledge and my interactions with Becky. But, this is a big but. It's about empowering the client. It's about their mental state, their mental welfare, their confidence to challenge, etc. Now, when I initially went to Jodie's, it was fine. They was all nice guys. And then there was a couple of unpleasant ones. There was. One of them said, go fuck yourself. Oh, this is YouTube. They're going to stop me. FC UK yourself, one of them said. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was the other guy, the partner, ex-partner, that mentioned exorcism or something. You know, whatever, anything that works for the client. At the end of the day, it was Becky and the guys that sorted it out. But we did the exorcism kind of thing. And we did a part on there on the St. Michael's prayer. Jodie, can you remember that?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, you should, because you was adversely affected by that.
Yeah.
So I want you to look at this clip now on reflection. Seriously, because this is important. And give me your best interpretation. Was this because you was in the moment, the suggestion of what was happening, or whether you was actually genuinely feeling affected by what was going on? Is that fair?
I was genuine. Yeah.
Okay, this is 10 years later. 10 years later, Jodie. 10 years. Oh my God, 10 years. Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to play this clip now. Are you okay for me to play this clip?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think this is, let me just, I've got to find it. There's so many clips on it, Jodie. Now, this is a really ugly clip because I've cut a certain person out of the clip, which means it's all disproportionate and everything. You'll understand that. So, okay. Right, I'm going to play this clip now. Steve, so this is what we did. I went round with a priest. We did that, didn't we, Jodie?
Mm-hmm.
And also we did this as well. Ultimately, it was Becky and the guys that sorted it, but this was part of it.
Thrust into Satan and all the evil spirits, proud around the world, seeing the ruins of souls. Amen. Some miracles of be our defence against the wickedness, snare of the devil,
and all the evil spirits, proud about the world, seeing the ruins of souls.
You two carry on, Jodie. Say now. Jodie, say now. You two carry on. Say now that
This is my home.
In battle, see the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him. We humbly pray. Do thou, O Prince of the heavenly, by the power of God, trust into the Satan and all the devil's spirits. St. Michael's as dark as an angel.
You remember that well, Jodie?
Yeah, very well.
That really affected you.
Yeah.
Mentally and physiology. What's the word I'm looking for, Steve?
Physiologically.
Physiologically, you see, I got it out in the end. Okay. Never have a bottle of wine at 12 o'clock midday. It's not good for you. That's Jodie's fault. Normally it would be 8 p.m. and yeah. Okay. So Jodie, what was happening there? We was doing the whole St. Michael thing. You was getting breath and all sorts of shit was just going weird. I mean, that's only a fraction of the whole thing. So just explain to me, Steve, and the viewers, what was you feeling right there?
So my theory, well, at the time when they were doing the prayer and it was a collective, so there was more than one person doing it. What I've realised with experience is that I'm very sensitive.
George, sorry, carry on.
When it comes to prayer. So at the time, my heart was racing and it was overwhelming, and the energy, it got too much to the point where I physically couldn't breathe. And it just, I couldn't talk, and I kept having to take deep breaths. But it was different. It wasn't like a panic attack kind of thing. It was like an overwhelming energy.
Okay.
I couldn't quite understand what was going on.
Hildy, at 8 they all started to let their kids mouthwash, fluoride, blah 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 blah, toothpaste, and blah blah blah. Okay. So you was actually, as far as you're aware, Jodie, you was actually feeling genuine, physical.
Yeah, because I think, because I knew I was sensitive anyway to spirit.
You are sensitive. I
And it was that feeling whenever I'm like, when I'm in a situation when there's a spirit near me, when I know, it was that multiplied by 20. It was like an intense feeling of what I usually feel when there's a spirit around me.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can describe it. And then, if I remember right as well, when the priest came round and we did the Lord's Prayer around the table. Do you remember when that affected me as well? When I had to. I
do.
And then the priest had to like hug me and like, because she was really worried about me.
Yeah.
For some reason, it really affects me when there's when there's more than one person there being said at the same time, and it affects me, and I physically cannot talk, and my heart just races, and I can't breathe, and I don't know what happened.
It's kind of almost like a panic attack, isn't it?
No, it's not even a panic attack. It happened to me at a funeral not long ago. I was at my nan's funeral. No, not my nan's. It was my partner's nan. But we were there, and everyone were doing the Lord's Prayer. And as everybody were doing it, I could feel that same feeling. It was an overwhelming feeling of like me being sensitive and how I usually feel when there's a spirit near me. It was just like crazy. I can't describe what happened.
No.
But something takes over where I just
This is the situation. I need a pee break, so you and Steve are going to collude to keep the show going until I come back. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And we're going to round it up then when I get back within about 10 minutes. Sound good?
Yeah, that's cool.
Go for you, Whittle.
Right. I'm out of here in 3, 2, 1. Guys, it's your show for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. I've had that feeling myself, Jodie. I know all that's yeah. It's quite a euphoric feeling. It's there is no emotion that you would recognise to describe it. Yeah, and that's how I felt. I only had that on one occasion, but it's an emotion that you can't really you can't really find the word for it because it doesn't really exist. Yeah. But it's quite powerful. Yeah. It's surrounding, and we really have to. We normally just give into it, because it's something that is quite profound, and we don't. I mean, I got a real blast of that once, and don't know if I ever want it again. To be honest with you, not that it was a terrible experience, but it was one that I struggled to identify.
Yeah.
When you have those, I it came close to it where I was in. I don't know if you've been into Liverpool Cathedral. You probably haven't, but it's a massive building, and I went in there, and I got that same feeling. But the problem is that we like to try and identify things as is this a good feeling or a bad feeling? Because if you have that feeling on your own in a home, and you realize that, okay, there's something going on in your house, you probably can say that, okay, this is a bad feeling. But sometimes you can have that same feeling during something which is considered to be good, like priests' prayers, being in certain locations, usually religious, highly religious locations. I mean, this is why people travel to, say, Lourdes, because highly religious people like to go and visit there, and other places, because they believe occasionally they get these euphoric feelings, But I know I know it's hard when people say, how do you describe it? You can't. There's no words to describe that emotion.
Yeah, the way that I do describe it, people automatically think, "Oh, sounds like a panic attack," but
it's not.
But I wasn't scared,
no.
and there was nothing there that would say, "Oh, I'm panicking." It's literally like just an overwhelming feeling of energy that it's just multiplied, like it's just intensified. That it's just really hard to cope with at the time. But it's not a bad feeling. It's just a feeling that I can't explain.
No, yeah, it's hard to explain that.
Guys, I find it sadly incredible. There are still people in denial of spiritual beings. Jodie's is just a tiny fraction of people's encounters and experiences.
Well, some people go through life, Don, never experiencing anything. So
I get that, but I'm talking from a scientific standpoint. How the hell can you ignore this shit? How can you? There's so much data available.
I think the process of how you have to investigate this scientifically is the process of the scientific investigation methods have to change.
Oh,
because
totally.
there is no way to scientifically this.
Before that changes, attitudes need to change.
Oh, attitudes definitely need to change.
That's the first point. Attitudes just need to change.
Yeah.
So, Steve, we've got some stuff going out shortly, which I think may raise one or two big eyebrows. To me, that is the first step on the ladder of actually changing attitudes, because you know what, and I know at any point we can put up the strongest argument in case against any skeptic, any scientist.
Well, we were going to do that on a television show in Scotland, if you remember. There was you and me lined up against numerous doctors, psychologists.
We would have trounced them, Steve. Absolutely trounced them.
They're the ones that pulled the plug at the last.
They're the ones that pulled the plug. Probably after they checked out my stuff and your stuff and our work. Because
they would have had no argument.
Because again, it takes them out of their comfort zone. Because you know what? They are cowards. We're willing to get out there and put our reputations on the line, which can be totally trashed overnight. We're willing to do that. And do you know what? They're not willing to do the same.
Well, there's a difference between wanting to master the current evaluation of the phenomena or want to produce something where we're advancing the study of the phenomena.
Well, we're doing
the latter.
We're doing both. You know what? We would challenge anybody in a friendly sense, get in that ring with us. Give it all you've got. We will give it all we've got. And you know what? Let's just see how that works out. Because attitudes change. Steve, we've done wondrous stuff over the years. The evidence is not average. We've raised the bar each time, every time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we
Every
have.
time. And it's testable and repeatable. The two things that they use as an Achilles heel. Yeah, well, it's a one-off. Right? You can't test it. Hello?
Yeah, but what the system's
Here we
created
are.
to fail. The system, when they turn around and say,
No. Yeah,
it's got
it's
to
set
be
up to fail. Yeah, it's set up to fail, Steve. But you know what? So was your experiment to me on the card, the envelope
Oh,
test.
yeah, that's
But
right.
What I'm saying is, there is an exception to every rule. This
There
is
is an exception. Yeah, you're one of those exceptions, but the whole system has been cleverly designed, and it's no different. When we had that professor guy, the magician, who said, "Oh, prove phenomena exists and you'll win $1 million."
No.
Now, it was impossible to win. Even professional people who looked at the whole process of that study said it was an impossible win.
Yeah.
Set to
Let me
fail.
tell you something. When I did my presentation,
That was the amazing Randy.
Let me tell you about this. This is quite incredible. When I did my presentation in Arizona, with the healing thing and all my evidence I put out, you've seen the presentation.
Yeah.
Dr. Skinner set the whole thing up. Now, guess who was there at that presentation?
Who was there?
Randy's best friend.
Really?
Yeah. He missed the presentation. Dr. Skinner told him all about it, and you know what? He dissed it straight away. He went, yeah, whatever. Yeah, load of bullshit. Then he watched the video. While I was still there, he watched it, because I filmed it. He came up to me. You know what he said, Steve? Don, I have not got a clue what's going on with you or how you're doing this, but you are an incredible person. This was from the guy that dissed me before he saw the thing, and then he saw it. This is Randy's best friend on the same page as Randy.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And you know what? That meant a lot.
Yeah, it does, because you are an anomaly, Don. I don't know what's more profound: the homes you walk into, or yourself half the time. And that's what's so unusual. But normally, you don't get that combination. You don't get the combination of that individual and that location.
The thing is, there was already a bias there because he worked with Randy.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and for him to say this thing, I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know what you just did. He saw the whole thing, the healing, and the whole thing. He said, "But I've got to say, Don, I think you're an incredible person." That was last day in Arizona. Fantastic. So when I say, the stuff we've done over the years, we can challenge anything. We can challenge anything.
Yeah, I'm always happy to.
Well, we're happy to. That's the point.
They don't come knocking on our door anymore.
No, but you know what? We invite them. The door is open.
Always open.
Come and debunk me. Come and debunk us. Come and debunk our work. But you know what? They won't come close because it's a real challenge, Steve.
So, just on a latter note, then, how quickly did Jodie's disturbances cease?
Straight away.
And immediately, straight away after the priest, or after you?
No. After me and Becky did I think that's right, isn't it, Jodie? After Becky got involved and the guys.
So, what was the difference in time between the priest and then you finishing? What was the difference?
It's about a week, wasn't it?
About a week. So it wasn't successful then, would you believe, what the priest did?
No.
Right. That falls into statistics. Only 12% of them is successful.
Steve, you know what?
She just blessed the house, didn't she? She just went to each room and did a prayer and a blessing.
Lovely.
She didn't actually do anything. Yeah, she just made it feel a little bit lighter, and it just made it feel a bit better.
But do you know what? I'm not being disrespectful, Steve, to anybody in any way, shape, or form. Priests, and 6 occasions over all the years, 6 occasions, I've been contacted by a priest because I did the first one, who then it's kind of word of mouth. That been around, done the full Hail Mary and exorcisms in this place, and it's not worked. And then they've contacted me via the guy I've worked with before, the priest from the first one. 6 occasions over all these years.
Yeah.
They come to me and said, Don, I've been giving your information from such and such because blah, 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 blah. We've been around there. This is the situation. This is the family. We've done an exorcism and it's not changed. You know what? No. Without offending anybody, it won't. It won't. It never will in real terms. The person the client might believe it's changed and like, oh yeah, okay, everything's fantastic and I can smell roses and everything. But
That's
you know
right. 12% of the clients believe
in
it.
real terms, a priest, I don't want to offend anybody, Catholics, Christians or whatever, but a priest in a genuine, full-on haunting situation, despite their best intentions and their beliefs, will never resolve the issue. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Not one time. 6 times I've had a priest come to me and say, Don, can you come round here? But I've been giving you a number, your information by such and such. I've gone round, just me, Becky. Do you know what? After we've been round, everything stopped.
Yeah.
6 out of 6. That's
Shame,
100% hit rate.
It's a shame because people don't know who to call, who to talk with.
Do you know, priests, priests is to do with a belief structure of something they don't understand. Let's be fair. They don't understand it. They do not understand it. And they're training of something they don't understand. It's malevolent, it's evil, it's spiritual, it shouldn't be here, etc. This should work. Oh no, and holy water and blessings, and it didn't work. No, because you know what? This is real. This is beyond a belief structure.
So obviously it didn't work with the priest. Was he aware that it didn't work?
She.
Oh,
no, because I'm a nice guy and I didn't say anything. And you know what? The first thing that kind of triggered oh my God, here we go. And I'm not being disrespectful. Mary was absolutely a fantastic woman, wasn't she, Jodie? Mary, she was lovely, wasn't she?
She was lovely, yeah.
She was walking around the house and I was following her. She went, and I was listening. I said, Mary, I do Latin.
Yeah.
I said, Mary, what was that? That wasn't Latin. What language is that? She says, I'm speaking in tongues.
Oh, glossolalia, yeah.
Okay. What does that mean? Seriously, what does that mean?
Speaking in tongues, it goes back a long time, actually.
Yeah, it does. But you know what? I said, what did you say? And she couldn't actually tell me.
No, because speaking in tongues, see, people think it's all one set thing, but speaking in tongues is different for everybody. You get 2 priests together and they're both speaking in tongues, they'll talk
But
different.
it is a belief structure.
Yeah, it's basically belief structure that goes back from the Babylonian days.
Yeah, it is. Totally, you're right. 100%.
Yeah, gobbledygook, But
to
each one it's different though. It's like their own.
Yeah, I understand that, but a belief structure, a personal belief structure, is never going to have an impact on a genuine case of haunting with genuine spirits.
Yeah,
it's not. The spirits don't give a shit who's talking in tongues. They're probably saying, "What the fuck?" I'm not being disrespectful. See, what I'm saying is, when it comes to clients, belief structure. I'm not anti-religious or anti-belief, and I respect everybody's beliefs. But when you're dealing with a client, you've got to go on beliefs, and you've got to deal with reality.
Yeah.
In real terms, real communications with what is possible and what can be resolved by real means.
Yeah. Well, obviously things came to an end. It didn't, and it was it an abrupt end, Jodie? Was it? It's so suddenly you just noticed that it all ended.
Yeah, it just it just felt so much lighter.
And that was down to what, Jodie? The exorcism, the priest, or me and Becky?
I think it was a combination of everything, really.
Okay, that's fair. A combination.
I think it was down to when you came with Becky, and then the exorcism. I think that because straight after the exorcism, I think that when we noticed that everything just changed.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was completely different.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's about encapsulating everything you can, whatever method, to get the end result and make the client feel better. Because, it's like you said earlier, your home is your sanctuary. If you can't feel safe in your home, you can't feel safe anywhere. And this is children we're talking about, we're crying out loud.
Yeah.
Right, guys, I'm going to go to the comments if we've got any. Guys, you've got 5 minutes to get your comments, your questions, or your calls in to me, Jody, or apparently Steve Murray right now. And then we're going to bring this to a close because I do not want. The last one was 3.5 hours, Steve. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
So we'll just give it 5 minutes, guys. And then we'll knock this one on the head and we'll call this a show. Jody, you've been absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Steve, always an unexpected pleasure, sir.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I only called to say I'm all right. I'm still alive.
Yeah, hey Don, how you doing? Hey Steve, on the show. Come on. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's my broken glasses? I want to check the comments. Have we got any? Let's have a look. Age is a terrible thing.
Age is a terrible thing.
It is a terrible thing. Oh, here we are. Comments. Oh no, that's not comments, is it? That's. So Jody, you sent me a message a couple of days ago to say you're not sure about if something's changed. Okay, do you want to elaborate in the last final few minutes of the show? Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So with TikTok, is that what you? My daughter's TikTok.
Yeah. Oh my God, she's a girl. Jeez, come on. That girl is amazing for her age. She's giving it all this. Oh my goodness me.
She's got her own private TikTok account. She's got no followers on there, but she likes doing videos. But she went upstairs and did a few videos, and then she said, "Mom, can you look at my videos?" So I went through them, and then there was one that caught my eye, and I thought, that makes sound.
The one with the sound.
A normal TikTok thing. Yeah, and the sound had been interfered with, and then there was a voice over the top of it, and then there was like a female voice right at the end, and I thought, yeah, this don't sound right. So I thought straight away, yeah, I thought I need to speak to you about it and see what you take on it. You know, your take. But
Jody, I will be coming to the UK in the next couple of 3 months.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop round to Jody's, have a nice cup of coffee, check the place out with me and Becky. How does that sound to you?
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's good.
Well, are you happy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's what we'll do.
You're always welcome.
That's a promise. I know.
Thank you.
Right. We are. I'm going to check the comments when I find my broken glasses, which I don't know where they've gone. I think I thrown them away somewhere, didn't I? Let me see if we've got any first. Hang on. Let's have a look what we got here.
There's one come up on the screen, actually. I can read it. It says, Jody with the bless me comment. Do you know the difference between...
Tongues to me is like Towers of Babel. Okay, that's fair, George. Okay, what's this one? Let's have a look what we've got here. We're just whipping through a few of these. That's a question I want to ask you, Don. Do all spirits understand Latin? Absolutely not. They do not. Do you know what? I speak... There's two types of Latin. There is what you call modern Latin and old Latin. Sometimes I'll jump between the two. And you know what? I'm not totally fluent, but I kind of get by. But if a spirit understands old Latin, it kind of gives you an indication as to what era they're in or from. You with me, Steve?
Or what they are.
The same, yeah, or what they are. The same, sometimes I'll say Sumerian, even. Now, if a spirit understands Sumerian, we're talking a whole different level, a whole different thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look here, what we've got here. Don't I feel not all priests believe or follow argument about spirit? Yeah, that's absolutely right. They don't. Cindy, I've been thinking of that a long time. Okay, what's that about? Let me see. Please, can I ask more questions? Ask as many questions as you want. What we got here? Well, they attack your third eye from the start, even putting poison dogs in that point. A lot of brain food, water, and all. Okay. Right. I'm just whipping through a few of the last comments, guys. Then we're going to bring this to a close, Judy. We'll be happy to hear, because I know that you normally go better. 9 o'clock. Wow. let me just drop down the list what we've got here. Okay, we've done that one, George. Okay. Does it work for Becky and yourself because Becky speaks to the spirits on their level? You know, Becky's a spirit, and they are spirits, so she'll understand it on all levels. That's the wondrous thing. What's the next one? Are there spirit dogs? Okay, so Stella, let me tell you. I said to Becky, I mean, we're going back years ago. We're talking about the spiritual plane. I said, Becky, are there trees and animals? She said, yes. As much as I can tell you. Okay, so right, I hope that kind of.
And cats.
And cats, obviously. I think Steve had a point when people really do have a problem. Who do they call? They call Don and Steve, obviously. What we got here? Thank you, Don. Okay, Mandy, whatever your name is, you've still not got back to me on that one. I'm going to let you off with that. You need to let me know what your name is. Randy owes Don a mill. Yeah, I think he really does. Okay, yeah, okay, that's that one. We're getting to the end now. And Madney again. I have a fantastic night, Don. Jody, Steve, lots of love, basically, and balloons and stuff. Fantastic. Okay, guys, unless that phone rings or a message pops up in the next 60 seconds, we are going to call this a night. It's been an absolutely incredible night, Jody.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
You've been absolutely fantastic. And Steve, thank you for coming on at no notice.
Okay, that's all right. I'm always prepared, even when I'm in my PJs.
Oh, you're not in your PJs. Oh, no, we've got a message, guys. I'm sorry. That means we might be here for another 10 minutes. No, let me just see what this is. Oh, no, they're all popping in now, aren't they? Of course they are. Okay, what's this one? Let's have a look. Why don't some spirits visit after death? Why don't some spirits visit after death? Some spirits do. You'd have to elaborate a little bit on that one.
Some do.
It's Mandy. You know what? I kind of figured that one out. Must be my psychic powers. She always puts herself as Mandy. Okay, Mandy. I'm going to call you Mandy in future. Do not be offended. Okay. Oh, good night. Okay, my friend. Who else we got here? Thank you all, George, our regular. Stella, are mirrors portal? Do we need to fear them? Mirrors? No. This is a Victorian.
I actually heard about that, actually.
Yeah. Do you know, it's a Victorian thing.
When two mirrors are facing each other, that creates a portal. Is that true?
No. Not at all. Not at all. This is all Victorian. This is Victorian stuff. Let's cover. You know, someone dies. You have to cover all their mirrors up in all the. In fact, it wasn't just mirrors. Any reflective surface. They put a black cloth over. You know,
yeah.
Hollywood movies, Victorian myths and legends. That's all that is.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know. So, you know,
as many mirrors as you want.
Don't worry about your mirrors. They're fine. Absolutely fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, what we got here? Kimmy, thank you. Had a brilliant night. Best time for the UK and us. Yeah, do you know what? Don't make a habit of it because this was 12 noon here, which was 8 p.m. in the UK. And for Don to be drinking red wine at 12 noon could be deemed a little bit dodgy. Okay, what we got here? Okay, happy customer. Jody? Steve?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Two of my favouriteest people in the whole wide world. Sincere, genuine people. Thank you for tonight. We are now drawing this to a close about 2 hours. How long has it been, Jody?
2 hours and 36 minutes and 45 seconds.
That's a short one. It's normally 3 hours to 3.5 hours.
Well, yeah, well, Jody.
Oh, no, I've got some more messages popped in. Hold on, guys. We are going to go, I promise. Plus, I got to check on Paddy. She's still bad, Steve. Really bad.
Is she?
Yeah, she really is. Oh, okay, we've done that one. Okay, here we go. What's this one? Do those who have passed feel sad? No! I've never, ever encountered a sad spirit. Have you, Steve? Jody?
No.
I've had recorded phenomena of previous events of crying,
Previous events, as in
not the
Stone
same.
Tape Theory, kind of replay from the past.
Yeah, it's not the
That's
same.
different.
Though,
That's
yeah.
different. Playing. Thanks, Steve, for your work on the unknown. Fantastic. George, dodge it or not, it's been great. I don't know what that means, George. Dodgy or not, it's been great. We don't do dodgy. This is Supernatural Files, dude. Come on, sort yourself out. Good night, everybody. George. Thanks, Jodie. There you go. Then we've got I'm off to bed now, log. Yeah, do you know what, Mandy? So are we. And that's it. So literally stop messaging, no calls. We're finished. Jodie, how did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, it's brilliant. Thank you for having me. It's lovely. I'm glad I didn't cancel now.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't cancel. Steve, I've got to tell you very quickly. I'm not going to answer any more questions, so do not put any more questions in. We're going in a minute. So I put it all over the place, this show.
Yeah.
And Jodie messaged me, and she said, sorry, Don, sorry to be a pain, but yeah, I'm going out to dinner tonight. Can we do this some other time? I was like, okay, I got to wing it. I said to her, this is, you know, she, I didn't realise it was like, okay, I'm going to cancel my dinner and everything. I said, no, Jodie, go to your dinner. I will wing it. No, Don, I made the arrangement with you first. How rare a person is that, Steve?
Yeah, true.
Fantastic. Oh, God, the messages are dropping all over the place. Okay, I'm going to knock these off quick, and then I'm just going to close the show. All right. I mean, they are sad when they see their loved ones sad. Yeah, yeah. Cindy, could you please answer the mirrors and portals? Put that question in really, really quick, because we're going when I get to the end of these. So you've got 10 seconds. Bye, guys. Good night. It's been nice knowing you. Yeah. No, they're not, Cindy. Okay, someone's answered that. Okay. And Cindy, the answer, no, they're not. Okay. And then we've got, I think they're not, though. Okay. And I think we're done. Guys, let's go quick before we get any more messages. Love you both to pieces. Fantastic. Bye. Thanks for coming on the show.
Good to see you, Jodie. You take care.
Okay, guys. I'm going to oh, this is the last one. Oh my God. We're going to get gone in a minute. I'm too nice. That's my problem. How do you know if parent or loved one comes to see you? That's a question for another day. Seriously, that's a big question. And finally, okay, bye, Don and Jodie. That's a good night. Good way to end the night. Guys, good night. Thanks for joining the show. See you next week with some more interesting stuff on the Supernatural Files. Got to say, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. We're doing important work. Subscribe. We're doing important work here. Guys, love you to pieces. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.